Good evening, everyone. It is I, once again, Hunter, aka the Ultimate TTRPGer. We are going to have an interesting night tonight, work week. Hope you didn't work too hard. Hopefully, y'all gaming in. I got a little bit of gaming in this week. I actually got to, hold on, I got everything over on the side here. I got to play some Arrows in Borderlands. Hold on, I'm trying to, there we go. Hold on. Barrows in Borderlands, son on his last night, playtesting his little homebrew he made. So that's something I'm looking forward to doing. This is a game I just got this in today. It's Underhaven, and it is it's one of those games where you roll a dice size alongside the D20 with your stats. And it's just the normal, usual, like, D20, 6 stats, all that. But I had to get a reprint version of it because the original one that I ordered, they like, double printed on some of the pages, so all the words were weird. So this is the new version, new reprint that I got today. And that light is, like, glaring off of this cover. So I'm looking forward to running that at some point. Maybe do some solo sessions with that. And then something I came across recently, and I've been talking about this kind of on and off. I recently, YouTube recommended, hold on, I'm trying to make sure that shows up properly in this. I got a YouTube recommendation video for the Shannara book series, which for those who don't know what that is basically a post-apocalyptic Earth in which magic has come around. So there's like druid councils and elves and dwarves and all that, but it's very much like Earth, but don't think I've seen this person before. Let's see who this is.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
All right. I need to add him. Hold on. If it's not one to work with me for some computers being slow.
No worries.
There we go. All right.
Yay!
That took me a second. I completely forgot you're playing a humanoid dung beetle, and I'm like, I don't recognize the name. And then I saw the picture. I'm like, oh yeah, that's
right. It just goes to show visuals do work, man. Yeah,
well, I'm trying
visuals
to
do work.
We did the sessions. Yeah, because we did the session 0 like the end of towards like the end of December, and this timing we couldn't get to the first session as soon as we wanted to, but we're finally going to start doing that tomorrow. Is the plan. So
excellent. Yeah. Yep. We'll see what happens. Roland will be looking for very interesting poop, and probably creating problems, even while trying to solve sanitation issues. As assistant to the assistant sanitation engineer.
Yeah, I did not leave the book out like I should have, which is bad on my part. But it should be. If you look at the description of the video, I did put the link to Rogers Out of the Black Hack RPG on DriveThruRPG, and you can always just reach out to him. Usually, if you see him on Discord, you'll usually see him on there. If you're part of the Red Room server and the new Chult server that he's been running as well, did a good job with the virtual VengerCon the previous weekend. And so, yeah, I got to play some Bidenville with doing New Flesh Red RPG with Miguel and Sylvia.
Right.
Oh yeah, you were there too, of course.
Yeah. I was the marksman. You were the tech expert. Judd was the sergeant who was kind of running the squad. And then, of course, Sylvia was the highly empathetic negotiator, and our negotiation probably killed like 100 people, but that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm still hung up about that Nat 1 that I rolled when I tried to hack.
Dude, Nat 1s happen. And they typically happen when you don't want them to.
Yeah.
It's like you can't buy a 20 until you need to do a roll under a characteristic, and then suddenly a 20 shows up. Yeah.
It just sucks because we didn't know the consequences of that Nat 1 until like right when we got to the end of it, where it's like, oh, not only did my hacking kill this guy, but it broke the implant that we had to extract from him too.
Oh well. They pay us the same either way.
Well, so I don't know if you've read this book series or not at all, or sorry, Dwarf. But YouTube recommended the book series to me one day, and it caught my attention because it was it's like post-apocalyptic Earth with druids came around, elves and dwarves and all that. But I guess the one thing that everyone keeps telling me, apparently it's a Lord of the Rings ripoff, is what everyone keeps saying. But
see, the thing is, I read it back in the day when it first came out. That's not entirely fair. If you read it, it soon becomes apparent. It's in the same style. It's epic fantasy. It's a save the world story. But if you look at it closely, it's not a ripoff of the Lord of the Rings at all. Terry Brooks took a different approach to it. Alanon the Druid is definitely not Gandalf.
Yeah, I actually, my local library did have the whole. I just checked out the original trilogy. I'm pretty sure they don't have all 40 plus books that the Shannara series now has, but I did find this is the Elfstones of Shannara, which is they did a season show based around this book, especially on MTV of all places.
I believe so. Yeah, the Shannara Chronicles. I never got around to watching it. I don't know anything about it, honestly.
And then I got the Wish Song of Shannara, which is the third book in the original trilogy. And then I'm waiting. There was actually a prequel book for this trilogy called The First King of Shannara, but I'm waiting for. I had to get that one requested from another library to get it in my local library. So,
well, I would focus on the Sword of Shannara. Some of the later books, I kind of dropped out of the series because I felt like it was kind of getting milked. Some stories aren't meant to go on forever. They're meant to have a beginning and an end. And I think that's fine.
Because there's there's 4 or 5 different trilogies. I think people told me in this. But what's funny was, this is the first time I've ever checked books out for my local library. Is how long. And the reason I know it's been such into the computer system to look up the prequel book of the trilogy, there was a $1 overdue fine from 2012 sitting on my account that I never knew about.
Wow, yeah, that's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I would have been 18 or 19 at the time because I turned 33 last month in December. And I graduated high school in 2011. So yeah, I would have been 18, 19 by that time. And when I went up to the lady about it because I was like, I don't know what this was from because it didn't tell me why it was overdue. It just said it was overdue and it was only $1. And apparently my local library around that year, they did a complete overhaul of their library system. And so it may have been even longer than that since it was on there. For all I know, she said. But they waived it and said, don't worry about it.
I was about to say, they're probably not keen to collect the cost of a coffee from McDonald's.
I never got an email, no phone call, no text. How I never would have known that I had a 14-year-old library fine sitting on in my account.
And then one day your grandchildren get a bill under the some kind of communist government. They say, "Oh, your family owes this generational debt."
I just imagine the IRS just kicking down the door of my son for my $1 library card fine or whatever.
That's $1 fine and $10 million in interest. Yeah, something like that.
That was what I thought was usually it's supposed to increase over time. So the fact that it's been 14 years and it stayed at $1. Actually, I wonder something now. With the cost of inflation.
Oh yeah,
$1. I'm curious what $1 in 2012 worth today. Okay, so it'd be $1.50 now, because apparently with the cost of everything, it's 40 cents.
Gotcha.
Is what it's giving
me. That's kind of a sad
testimony. What the Google AI tells me. So, yeah. Yeah, because
ordinary working people have definitely felt the impact. That's a very short time for the currency to inflate that much.
Yeah, it says it's again Google AI, so don't take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. But it says the average annual inflation rate of around about 2.5% between 2012 and 2026.
Yeah.
Which doesn't
Ugh.
sound like a lot you would think, and then you go to the grocery store, and then
Yeah.
it really hits you. But it did not hit me in the gas tank because I actually got gas like $2 a gallon like this past week, which
Sweet.
I don't.
Sweet.
Yep,
So you are
but enough about
doing
that.
the floor plan for the ship that our merry crew will be rollicking around in.
Yeah, I actually started this like weeks ago, and then I just procrastinated on it. So I'm just now getting around to like the last like 4 or 5 levels, like because it's not too complicated. Like here's the more like that'll be like the middle of the ship. So you got like all your computers, and then you got like core and like control panels around that and stuff. So this is like all like this is like almost kind of like Starship Enterprise like control center kind of vibes. So like these are all like your different computers and controls, and then the core, and then you got the first floor, the upper level, which is basically just kind of like the lunchroom for the most part. And so all these little like squares on the wall, I'm picturing them. I'm picturing them like those machines they have thing from nothing and it makes it for you. So these are all just food creation machines of different varieties. Like one's for like the others for like Italian. You can take, and then you got
Oh,
just a little
cool.
kitchen for like some fresher stuff to get made or whatever kind of deal. And then again, just basically all the floors you'll be able to have access to like control rooms. So like all the other floors are basically like maintenance areas in case they had to like go up to another floor for something. And so the next floor that I'm thinking about working on here is and in order to do my perfect circles, I got like a a little breakfast bowl here that I've just been upside down to do my perfect circles on.
Hey, whatever works, man. Whatever
Yeah.
works.
So and so I'm thinking the second upper. Oh, and there went my papers. My desk is a mess. I still need to clean it off. It's a if I was to turn this camera around and just a stack of books right here. All right. So how was your week?
Very busy. Obviously, I was at work and yeah, a lot going on. So I work in the software industry, and it always seems like there's something. And to be honest with you, it's just as well people don't know how most of the software gets made in this country or other countries,
Mm-hmm.
because it's kind of like watching somebody cook your food. If you
Yeah.
watch them cook your food, you might not want to eat it. Well, if you watch them make your software, you might not want to use it. But it gets done anyway.
And then I have, and then like for the first part of like the center area, I got like none of this is like perfect, so nothing's like perfectly centered and all that, but just been
It gets the job done.
yeah, exactly. That way, I'm not trying to draw like yeah, because trying to draw circles is always the hardest thing to do. And I got tiny little circle for the core. Oh yeah, my work week wasn't too bad. It actually went by pretty smoothly. It's finally died down from the holiday rush. Finally.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean it has to eventually. Although theoretically we have a holiday coming up, Lincoln's birthday, which is commonly called Martin Luther King Jr. Day now. But
Oh, I didn't even realize it was supposed to be Lincoln's birthday too.
yeah,
On top of that,
well, technically it actually is. So it's like when the Congress did that stuff in the '80s, they said, "Holy cow, what day can we pick?" And they said, "You know what? We'll just move Washington's birthday's in February, Lincoln's birthday's in January. We'll move, uh, Lincoln to Washington and call it President's Day." Officially, though, it's still Washington's birthday, and then Lincoln's birthday is now known as Martin Luther King Jr. Day because we have to
gotcha.
have racial hero holidays.
I
At
mean, they're
least
about to get a
Juneteenth
whole
made
month
sense. We
coming
had no
up, right?
holiday in June. Exactly,
Uh,
supposedly.
I don't think, I don't think, I don't think Juneteenth makes that much sense at all. I don't think we need it, honestly, in my opinion.
We don't need a Juneteenth per se, but it's not terrible to have a June holiday. I just wish it was something else. You know, we didn't have a holiday in June. It's not a terrible idea to have one because it's summer. But there's so many other things we could have done in June. And in fact, let's see. Let me ask Grok. I have Super Grok. Let me ask Grok a few questions.
I'm trying to remember how I did, like, because I had like the outer wall and then there was like a space between the walls because I had to have space between the walls for the elevators. I'm trying to remember how I made the inner circle, the inner big circle. I can't remember if I used this or I used something else.
I was about to say, did you have another bowl?
I mean, it's the exact same one like this. I only have like two like cereal bowls. I don't even eat cereal that often anymore now.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like I used to, like it's interesting because like I used to like I would keep like a box like Honey Nut Cheerios or something, and then I would just eat on that. But I stopped buying just regular milk because it only lasts like maybe a couple of weeks. I sometimes wouldn't use it all, so I'm just wasting money. And the only thing I even really use for is like mac and cheese. I use milk for. Hey, Mike, see you, Michael Dale. Glad you can join us tonight. Instead, I started using heavy cream for my mac and cheese instead of regular milk because it lasts longer. It actually tastes a lot better with the mac and cheese.
Gotcha. So, I forgot about it, but Flag Day is June 14th. Why didn't they just make Flag Day like a full-blown holiday?
Who knows?
That would have worked. So yeah, there you go. Anyway,
it's like this is driving me up the wall that I cannot remember how I did the inner circle.
you did something extremely innovative, and of course now you can't remember it.
Yeah, hold on, I gotta go pick up my other mat pieces that fell on the floor. I'll be right back.
Alrighty.
Yeah, because like I didn't like have them super big. I had like a wall to what because you had like the elevators were like a part of this up here, and you had them in all like kind of like all four like north south. But I'm trying to remember how I did that inner line now, because I want to say that I like took my bowl and I like just moved a little bit of ways away, and I just kind of slowly moved it around when I was doing the circle. But I don't remember if that's actually what I did or not now.
Maybe you turned it up the other way and tried to carefully trace around the bottom of the bowl.
I just remembered exactly what it was I did now. Because what it was I drew like because what I did was, hold on, I drew the elevator part out first, and then I used the edges of the bowl to make the straight line to connect it to the other side of that of the other elevator on each side.
Gotcha.
That's how I did it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I completely forgot I did that. Now I remember that I did that.
This reminds me a little bit of the way Star Frontiers did starships, where it was like they were kind of like the classic starships, but instead of it all being lengthways like a naval vessel, they were stacked on top of each other on the presumption, I guess, that that was the direction of gravity when you were under acceleration, something like that.
Yeah, and do you remember what we named our ship? Because I know we got hung up on the name because
we named her the Alabaster Dream.
And there was also
yes, there was
Alabaster Dream. Okay, actually, so I don't forget.
Basically it was a toilet. It was a toilet joke. So, but the
Yeah.
One's like the porcelain god felt too far on the nose. So Alabaster Dream it was. The shuttle, I hate to say, I don't remember right off the
Yeah,
top of
and
the head.
there
I could
wasn't
probably have a note
the
about it somewhere.
I want to say it was like Little Brown or something, or like Brown Stain or something, because we went all in with the toilet jokes after after Roger
We
rolled up
did.
that he was the sanitation assistant. Well, it was it was ASE because it was engineer, but I changed it to supervisor, so he's the ass.
Oh, is that what he was? So I'm
Yeah.
actually the
Well,
assistant to the
yeah,
assistant sanitation supervisor.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right, sure, got that
Basically,
down so
folks,
I
I'm
don't
a bug
forget
with a
it.
plunger.
Yeah. Well, I think for your story is you were a dung beetle that got on the ship, and then something happened that caused you to become humanoid.
Right. So
If
the
I,
random background I rolled up was that some young man bravely pushed an old woman out of the way of a falling piece of radioactive goo. And the radioactive goo container broke open on his head and splashed me. And I mutated on board the ship. Given my natural proclivities as a dung beetle, I migrated to the quote unquote bowels of the vessel, and then became the assistant to the assistant sanitation supervisor because really nobody else wanted to put up with me.
I just like the idea that it was like radioactive, like it was like a janitor that just finished cleaning the restroom, so it's like radioactive shit water or something. It was actually what it was.
Probably,
Just a,
probably,
doesn't have to
probably
be. Just
why.
a funny thought I had.
Yeah, it's so
Like
yeah, it's like something from the toilet of the Chernobyl or something. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, yeah. So that was basically my background. So I am for those who are watching, I am what is called out of the Black Hack. I am called an evolved, which is a fancy way of saying that I am a anthropomorphic bug.
Yep. Yeah, because we have one human, one robot that evolved, and then we have two simulations that are on the ship as well.
Yeah, how we're going to get past all that, I have no idea. But what that basically means is that the only human on the ship is that one character, and everyone else is either a construct or a bug. So there you go.
This feels like a comedy version of what was that movie? It had like Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence in it, where they're on the spaceship, but they were the only like humans that were awake on the ship.
Oh, shoot, I cannot remember that. I do remember Red Dwarf is usually thought of as being a particularly odd one. Which I mean, that's one of the inspirations. That and Quark.
It's still one I see, and they did do a red. I think I told you they did make a Red Dwarf TTRPG, but it used it was like a story narrative system that they used for like Buffy and Smallville, and I think the first Firefly RPG they made used that same system, where it was like you could play as like either the characters from the show, or it gave you rules to create your own characters. You could basically play out the episodes how you wish.
Gotcha.
And then
I don't know. I've never been
Firefly
into that kind of role playing game.
Yeah, it's like I have it on my phone. I'll have to send it to you so you can look at it if you wanted. So if you wanted to look it over and see, because I think I just came across. Because the reason I came across it was I saw someone share a picture of the Smallville RPG, and I'm like, this had to be a joke. And then I Googled it, and it turns out that no, there was a Smallville TTRPG that was made at one point in time. And hold on. Red Dwarf role-playing game, and it's actually funny because I didn't know clips of that show, so I thought it was actually a more newer show. I didn't realize it's like how old is this show?
Oh, it's from the 70s. Oh, it's ancient.
Red
Same thing
Dwarf?
with Quark. Yeah, the original Red Dwarf.
Huh.
Yes.
Oh, the original Red Dwarf. Then what's? I don't know if the stuff I've been seeing on that YouTube's been showing because it looks like an old it looks like 2000s television show when I watch it on when the YouTube clips get recommended to me sometimes. So I don't know. Maybe looking at a newer version. Yeah, because it said this game
Well, let me
came
take a
out
look.
in. I'm trying to see when this game came out in. Yeah, this one came out. The game came out in 2002. This game, and it uses the. I'm looking at it. What the system was that they used for this? Yeah, Red Dwarf role playing game published by Deep Seven from Washington of all places. Just style.
Sorry, I completely got it wrong. It first aired on BBC Two in 1988.
Huh. It does not. What? That's interesting. Then they must have I wonder if they touched it up or something then at one point because the YouTube clips I've been seeing of it do not look like it's an 80s television show.
Well, what's weird is that they kept airing it. They kept shooting it and airing it, but it was really long and drawn out. It ultimately ended up with like 52 episodes, but as what I'm looking at says the show ran for 11 years, so from like 88 to 99. But it was the series. They didn't necessarily shoot a series every year. Like, for instance, they had episodes shot in 88, 89, then they skipped, and then there was 91 and 92 and 93. Then they skipped, then it was 97 and 99. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I want to say this game system was called it was the Cortex system is what it was called because it was the same one that was made for the Smallville and the Buffy. So I'm trying to find the Smallville one now because I know the Smallville one actually said what kind of system it used. Yeah, the Cortex system, which was a more narrative focused system. Yeah. It was a more narrative focused system, but it still had stat numbers and all that. And I believe it was a dice pool system.
Okay, yeah, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was wondering. My W-2 for my work finally dropped in my mailbox. I was wondering when that was going to appear.
Yay!
Yeah.
Taxes.
One of them. Yay! It's wonder how much I'll get back this year.
That's always the question. And now we know how much of it's being stolen.
that is unfortunately true, yeah.
That's the part that kind of hurts. It's like, wait a minute. I've been paying all these years for that stuff and they've just been stealing it? Oh, we don't have enough money. We need more money. In other words, they need to steal more money. It's like, what?
All right, so what did I? Oh yeah, I had doors on these too. Forgot about that. You have to enter the core. You have to enter the core room somehow.
Oh, we haven't Jess. That would make for an amusing, episode. They forgot to install the doors. How do we get in?
It's that freaking Drake and Josh episode where they get stuck in the treehouse because they didn't saw a door entrance.
Exactly. There you go.
It's like, Drake, yeah, Josh, where's the door? I drew it right there. Okay, where's the saw? Out there. Go get it. I see the problem now. You think? Such an underrated show for its time. All right, yeah, I did see you got your patrolman game that basically booked up with a few extra seats open for people.
Yeah.
I'm just to let everyone know, like, what system are you using for that one?
What? I'm sorry, which one?
Your game.
Oh, that's Darker RPG. That's Darker RPG. Are you going to be able to play in that one, or are you going to have to?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
It's tomorrow night, right? Right?
No, it's Sunday afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be
May
able
not
to.
be able
I'm
to
gonna be
manage
with
it.
my kiddo tomorrow. Well, I'm gonna be
Oh,
with my
no
kiddo
problem.
at that time because that's 2:30 my time. So otherwise, I would. So, and I usually have my
No
own Sunday
worries.
group that we've been doing. We've been running. Me and two other guys, and we will we'll just take turns like running different games. And lately, one of the guys has been running us through a Black Hat campaign where we're just going on this whole. We're going through this whole like goblin conspiracy thing going on because it's like I was an elf in a village. All of a sudden, goblins invade, and now there's this little rabbit hole we go on. It's like, oh, there's apparently evil merchants now working with the goblins. The goblins getting supplies or stealing them from other merchants to fund the massive goblin army that's in this way.
Sounds like Congress. Sounds like Minnesota. No worries. I understand that Sunday afternoon is kind of an odd time. It's just that's the time that Sylvia and Miguel normally play their game sessions.
Yeah.
And we realized that with them being out of, out of, you might say out of their usual location, we could go ahead and fill in with something else. So yeah, it's no big deal. I know some people can't play. I also know some people are like in a very different time zone. And like I think Jillos was saying, I think he was saying he'd love to play, but it's like 3 a.m. in the morning for him. It's like, okay, well, don't worry about it, dude.
Yeah, like Shadow and Son invited me to be a part of his Barrels and Borderlands campaign. He just started. He's got a Monday group, and then he's got a Thursday group, and I'm part of the Thursday group. And so I'm running a mutant Gamma who the powers the mutant his mutations I rolled up. He can he can shift his density to either be light as a feather or hard as steel. However, he also has brittle bones. So if he falls from a great height, he takes double the damage. He has extra arms, but he doesn't have any control of the extra arms. What else did he get? He has glowing green eyes that he has glowing green eyes that makes him easy to spot in the dark, basically. But then he also has a tail that he can like use to like hold a dagger or an item in, as well. So
sweet.
He's a weird.
He's definitely
mutations.
He's not going to be able to hide what he is. That much is clear.
Yeah, that's what the boarding axe is for that he carries on his back.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. And so we played from like 7 to 10 last nights, and we didn't start at the tavern. We met at the job board that was in the middle of the town square in this town he made. And so it was my mutant Gamma, a human cleric, and her page. We have a green skull cleric. I don't know if he's a cleric or a wizard. I'm not entirely for sure what he is. We have a kobold fighter that's being played by Bloodworth. He's playing a kobold fighter. We also have another halfling fighter. That guy unfortunately had to dip out for an emergency, so he didn't get to play with us too super long. And then we also have there's one more. I can't remember what the other character was at the top of my head right now, but we ended up pick up this job to clear these houses of apparently supernatural hauntings have occurred. So we go in this one house, we find a mummified body holding a bottle of wine just on top of a rug, and then eventually, we eventually move the body, lift up the rug, discover a trap door. And of course, only like two of us have the dark vision, night vision, infravision, whatever it is they use. I can't remember to go down. Discovered the eaten, decaying corpses of a mother and child. And while they're down, and And so while the people with night vision are down there looking at that and looking through the crates to see what they can scavenge, me and a couple of the other players were still in like the middle, the main floor and also upstairs, floating around watching us, but they didn't attack us. Because there's also there's also a theory going around that the Mirror Men are still around, which this town was like ravaged apparently by monsters called Mirror Men, like decades ago, but no one knows what the Mirror Men look like. It even says in the monster manual for Barrows of Borderlands, no one knows what the Mirror Men look like.
Oh, gracious.
Yeah. So we don't know if these were the Mirror Men or if there was something else. We don't know, but we ended up going to the tavern, sleeping the night off, and we're doing like bi-weekly. We're going to try to see if we can put the spirits to rest of the mother and child.
Well, the first time I actually got a chance to play Barrows of Borderlands was at VentureCon, and I did play one session on Saturday. So Chancellor GM was running that session, and I was playing in it with a guy from one of my regular gaming groups who I kind of roped in and got him interested. And Roger, and there was a couple of people. I ended up getting the pre-gen that was the magic user, the wizard. Somehow I ended up 60 feet tall and naked at one point. And it was a weird game.
That kind of happens. I have a dwarf half-caster because I have a bunch of characters in the campaign world that we should play in on the server. And I have a dwarf half-caster that I forgot what happened, but some spell effect, he's now a 7-foot tall dwarf. So he's basically
Hagrid. Oh, good heavens. So he's a quote-unquote dwarf, quote-unquote. But yeah, I'm the dwarf, and there he is, 7 feet tall.
Yeah. Yeah, but Chance was a good dude. I played in quite a few of his games. He's been, I think he ran the Karst again, too, for the VentureCon, and that's one he was running on the server for a while that I've played in. I ended up stealing my character stole some spell scrolls from the local mage guild that was in the city.
There you go. It sounds like a very Barrows and Borderland thing to do.
Yeah, because it is basically keeping the Borderlands with the serial numbers filed off and just kind of science and gonzo fancy mixed into the works with it.
Yep, yeah.
And I just remember what the final character of the game was. One of the guys made because it used to be it was in the first Radioactive Boogaloo before the third printing, and when Matt released the third printing in the monster manual book, there is now that you can rule instructions for how you could play robots for like a player character in your game. And one guy he made a robot magic user, which basically was like a CP30 from episode 1 with none of the covering and all the wires exposed and all that. It was basically what he looked like.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but he's a magic user, and I'm like, that was actually a question I brought up one point. Like, can the robots actually like be magic users and clerics?
The rules allow it. If the GM allows it.
Yeah, because my solo game that I'm about to start running here in a couple of weeks, the first session of it, the premises of it is it takes place like maybe like a 3,000 years after the main campaign world that we're running in. One of the characters that's listed by name in the book kills off all the gods and basically summons a zombie apocalypse. When I was originally making my characters, because I was going to Barrows of Borderlands before I did my mashup of my other two games, I ended up creating a Green Skull cleric. But then I realized something. If all the gods are dead, how could you play a cleric? And that was when...
yeah. No, I was going to say that's always been a question for me, because in most, fantasy OSR type games, whether you're talking about Dragonlance or you're talking about Dark Sun, no gods, no clerics, no healing magic.
Yeah, but that was when I remembered that I had this on my phone. Hold on, let me try to...
Oh, yeah, deities and demigods, yep.
And this one is actually, hold on, I gotta find the page in here really quick, because this is a special one because it is the first particular mythos in it.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that one. In fact, I owned it once upon a time, and somehow it disappeared. Don't ask me how. I think it got left in a move or something.
Yeah. So, but when I was looking at that, I finally came up with the idea of there are gods older than these other gods that were probably like hidden away, and now with the new gods dead, and then chaos roaming on the earth once more, the old gods come back, basically in a sense. So I'm going to have a cleric of Cthulhu, which would technically be like so more of a warlock per se, but tomato, I guess, and that point. Because I mean,
at the end of the day, if the powers can grant you what you need, you can play a cleric.
Because isn't that technically all a cleric is just a holy warlock? When you think about it,
they're kind of holy warriors. The fact that they added the paladin class confused things, because really clerics were meant to be the holy warriors originally. And that's why their magic came from divine sources. They were warriors for God. So as a result, they weren't quite as good as fighters just at fighting, but they could still fight, and they could still wear heavy armor. They were more like medieval European clerics, right? When they say cleric, what they really mean is, like somebody like what they really mean is somebody like Bishop Odo, who was the cousin, I believe the cousin of William the Conqueror. And he actually donned armor and fought on the battlefield along knights who were, given a portion of his territory. He's going around with a mace knocking people's heads in.
I kind of think when my original thought process when I first thought about what a cleric was, I kind of thought of them as kind of like friars. At first, the first time I ever heard about what like a cleric. So I'm thinking like a big old bald head, but still got the hair around and the brown robes and all that. That was my original idea of what I thought a cleric was.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, they got to where they didn't explain the concept very well. Even when I first started the game, I had some confusion about clerics. I thought that they were meant to be more like priests, and of course, that's eventually what they did become. In fact, they were called that in the AD&D Second Edition era. They were called priests, but they really were originally meant as a kind of holy warrior when they eventually came around. They didn't exist in the earliest version of the game. In the earliest version of the game, as I recall, you had warriors and magic users. There was a reluctant decision to add thieves. I think that was in the Greyhawk supplement. You know what? I got to look all that up. I don't remember.
Okay, so because this whole stream was focused on my map, and then we just went all over the place. So
yes, we did.
But I'm thinking about the upper 3 levels I'm going to create, because it's going to be have like 7 floors basically, but they're all like huge because it's a huge giant spherical ship. So the first 3 floors of this ship are going to be like kind of the living quarters. So you have the very top one will be like the cryo chambers that you'll all sleep in for sleeping. Then this right now, this is going to be like kind of like a one giant locker room, basically, where everyone like stores their stuff, change of clothes, personal effects, all that jazz kind of deal. So the second upper level 2 is going to be just a giant.
Gotcha.
And then the bottom 3 levels, the lower ones, though, that's going to be like all like, because I think this is supposed to be like, this was a ship that was sent to like terraform. We said Terraform Operation Musk was what the ship was for.
Originally, yes. Yeah, and I believe something happened where we went off course or something happened. And so, everybody left the ship.
Like the boss. Yeah, the bottom 3 levels of the ship are gonna be, like, all that stuff, so it's gonna be, like, equipment, vehicles, and I gotta figure out what the other room is gonna be for, because it's gonna be, like, the middle floor, 3 upper levels, 3 lower levels.
Gotcha.
So that's my thought process on it right now. I've actually done anything that's, like, ever I would ever say, like, I've never a map sort of thing for a game, because I don't use maps that often in my games.
Well, there's lots of games now, and they always existed. In fact, some OSR games were done this way, like Classic Traveler. You could use maps, you could use grid-based movement, but they also had stuff based on range bands, which is kind of what out of the Black Hack does, right? They use range bands.
Yeah, the like the close, near, far, far away kind of thing that several games, because I know
Right.
Horde Wars kind of does that, but they also have numbers with their spaces as well. And it's just like, so it's like if you're like a close distance, you're like maybe like 6 spaces away from that person or opponent or whatever usually. And then you had Shadow Dark really started that with the close, near, far, because I think going, and even then they say going a near distance was the equivalent of like going 30 feet if you wanted to put a number to it. They said in the book.
Yeah, the reason for range bands, and I think this is why Traveler did it way back in the day in the basic Traveler book. The reason why range bands are so convenient is that not everybody's in a situation where they can sit around using some kind of right erase grid or grid paper. Don't think it mattered as much in the original dungeon crawlers, because the idea was that the DM might have his own map, but ultimately it was the player's responsibility to do their own mapping. That was part of what pulled them into the game. Not only were they crawling around in a dungeon, but they kind of had to keep their own map. So they had to be careful to pay attention to, where they were going, ask the rough size of rooms, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and like I think because that's one of the things we'll do sometimes with the Bears of Borderlands server is we'll do the mapper and the caller thing depending on the game. And I have only been a mapper one time. And I ended up getting into an argument with the DM about how the room was supposed to look like, because I was trying to get it down exactly. And this one room that he was trying to describe just could not draw it out right, no matter how he described it. And it was driving me up the wall so badly. It was like I was having such a tism moment. And we joke about that a lot. Like, Hunter's having a tism moment. So, I mean, that's how the whole thing. That's how. Did you ever hear the story about the horse about my question about me questioning how horses work in Bears of Borderlands? Did you ever hear that story?
I did not hear that story.
Okay, so when I started playing Bears of Borderlands, I got the second printing of the books, and I was told I should get a horse to be able to ride around if I wanted to travel easier, carry stuff, all that. So, well, in the book, in the second printing, you had your draft horse, your war horse, your riding horse, all that. But then when you look up for horse speeds in the in the actual adventure booklet, you had light horse, medium horse, heavy horse. And to me, I'm thinking, well, the riding horse must be one of these 3 horses, because not realizing that it was talking about them by weight, not really by type, what they were, which I didn't think about at the time. So there was I think there was I don't remember, there was a 3-day argument that we all had on the server about how horses should be in Barrels of Borderlands. That literally, hold on, I have to. Yeah, if you actually look in the section that talks about horses in here, I have to find the page now. Yeah, in the Underworld and Borderlands Adventures, I have it's the Black Label Omnibus Edition, which made by the cover's made by Castle Grieve, who's the creator of the Calarath game.
Okay.
And hold on, let me find this here, because it literally says, if you go to the section about the horses, I gotta find it here. Maybe it wasn't. Was it some under? Or maybe it was in Monsters. I think I'm trying to remember now. Okay, yeah, it's actually in the Monster Manual part. Actually, now that I saw it. So, yeah, where it goes under horses and mules, you'll see these two words, ultra approved, in the text.
Okay.
Because the conversation, because it was literally, because again, it was such a profound argument that we had just over horses that it actually caused him to rewrite some of the rules that he had made for how horses worked in the game.
Well, that's cool.
And then there's also and going to be in the Radioactive Tougaloo that he's working on. It's going to have actions, and there's a guild called the Ultra Guild, which is basically a group, an organization of horse thieves.
I saw a post from Sandy Peterson on X today where he was talking about how a buddy of his mocking his name, his actual name, which is Sanford, apparently. Basically resulted in him coming up with a name for a villain.
I never realized that Sandy would have been short for Sanford. I never would have thought about that.
So yeah, I think it's that. I think that's what it is. Yeah, I would have to go back and check it, but I looked at it and thought, oh, okay. So the version of your name he mocked you with ends up becoming a villain in various card games you created. So there you go. Inspiration comes from everything.
Gary Gygax especially kind of did that with what was it, Zgag?
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of those names were anagrams. So yeah, Castle Zagig. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Or see, there's some other ones that were like famously anagrams of their own names. And, I mean, it when you're inventing something, you got to come up with names and terms from somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I did like that comment you left. Mace to the face is one way of converting people.
It works. Yeah.
There actually there actually are a few there's actually some solo play podcasts that I listen to that exist. And one of them that's been around for a while, it's called Iron Realm. And it's basically this guy just created like this super like ultra like mega dungeon that's basically like in a realm of its own. Because like basically you start out with like no weapons, no food, no water, no armor, nothing. You start off as like slaves, and then you're just trying to escape like this massive dungeon. Which is like you got goblins and beastmen and kobolds, but you can also like find all sorts of stuff in it. It's like he does not go easy on his like characters that he makes for them. And okay, I was sharing the story for a reason. Now I forgot why I was sharing the story. Why was I sharing this story? There was a reason.
We were talking about Mace to the face.
Oh yeah, I remember now because I'm still like catching up because it's one of those ones where I just had one of those podcasts I just had on my playlist. I never got around to it until recently. So I like started at the beginning. I'm still making my way through. But he has one of the NPCs that became a player character was a cleric. Well, when they were trying to rescue this NPC before she became a PC, the cleric grabbed a bladed weapon and killed like a guild that they were all fighting against. And because she did that, god basically took away her voice, that took away her magic abilities for a while because she used a bladed weapon
Oh,
and not a
okay.
bullet one. So I just thought that was kind of interesting
Well,
that he kind of stayed along with that.
that's something, to be honest with you, that, and I think it's fine to have DMs just kind of do it on the fly. That's something that a lot of game systems that do allow cleric type characters don't really take into account is, well, you give them certain abilities, those abilities have divine origins. What are their gods going to demand in return? What
Yeah.
behavior will they expect? And how is that enforced in game terms? Is it something that should be just kind of determined on the fly, or should there actually be like a scale? Should it be something where roles come into play? Some games have actually taken that on. I don't remember that D&D ever really did. You had text about, oh, well, you need to do this, and your god has this ethos, but it's almost like in game terms it was just entirely ambiguous. It was something, if you were going to deal with it, you'd have to deal with it through a system that was created for the table.
Yeah. One thing. Did you ever play Knights of the Old Republic?
I did. I did. I had both Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2. Yeah. Still have them.
I never played the second one. I remember I played the first one back when I had the original Xbox, like years and years ago. But one thing, and I started thinking about this because I was trying to figure out, like, how I was thinking about the whole alignment system thing, like how to make it work. It's like and I would love if there was like a mechanical, if there was like a mechanical element to where like how like you could choose like your light and dark choices, and you see like that meter go up and down for all your characters. I would love to do something like that. It's not really about alignment, but like kind of like almost like a karma point kind of system type thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Of course, the red system has something like that where it's the path of sin and virtue, right? And you can go up and down depending upon your conduct in game and the game ethos. Um, yeah, so and that's really more suited for campaign play. I think it's not something that tends to have an impact in session, but it can have an impact on the character over time. It's a great way to have like real gameable consequences for PC conduct.
Yeah, because I think I like that better. It's not really about like, or it's not necessarily about like you have this alignment, like you're lawful good. You have to always be lawful good, and if you do one thing, then you just like lose like abilities. Whatever. I like the idea of like everyone kind of starts out neutral, and then like as you're making choices throughout the campaign, how how you see how those decisions you've made affect kind of like the game and the world around you.
Yep, you are what you do.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I just like that idea a little bit better. Like I don't. It's not that I have a problem with the alignment system. I just like I just thought. I just started thinking about like, what if we had like a karma point system instead of just saying like, if you're chaotic evil, you have to play chaotic evil, which I actually did play. In one game, Chance was running us through a module called, it was the Palace of the Vampire Queen, and my first
Oh,
character.
I've heard of that. Yeah,
Yeah, and I was playing
yeah.
a chaotic evil kobold fighter, and he wasn't like he wasn't evil like he was going around killing everyone. He was just running all over the place and opening random doors, not caring about what was inside. So I opened the door, and I immediately got attacked by like 3 trolls in one room.
Yeah. Yeah, here's the thing, alignment's funny because alignment originally meant just that, alignment, what side you're on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the original alignments were lawful, neutral, and chaotic. Neutral wasn't principled neutral. A neutral was simply unaligned. They didn't care about law or chaos. Law was you were actually aligned with the forces of order. Law was defined in terms that suggested, well, law is basically that which is good for humans in terms of good order, an organized world, et cetera, rules that everybody follows. And chaos was the side that was really about personal power, the self, all possibilities, never letting the rules keep you from doing what you needed to do. Good and evil came down essentially to how you chose to play your character, but it didn't change what side you were on. Then AD&D came out with the cosmic wheel, the wheel cosmology, and suddenly alignment became something a little bit different. It almost began to define, well, your character's supposed to act a certain way. Well, the problem with that is, let's face it, when we play our characters, we don't really know who they are until we start playing them. Because, if you have a certain concept of your character, that's fine. But who your character really is going to come out and play. That's one thing the OSR, I think, has over what I call traditional play, which came about in the Dragonlance era, is that you don't try to predefine or give a big background to your characters. Who your character is, it's like the story starts in session 1, and who your character is develops through play. Like, I have a concept for Roland Dunkster, but in the end of the day, who he really is going to come out and play. I mean, I'm going to try to play him true to his concept, but the situation may require Roland to be played a certain way, assuming he survives past the first session, which we never know about. Never know about that. But
Yeah.
It's a comedy game, so presumably the worst that will happen is that he causes an explosion in the bathroom or something. But anyway.
Yep. I think we're still going with the idea of the campaign name being flushed out.
They had that one animated animated movie about a pet rat who got flushed down the sewer, and then had to deal with real rats.
I remember that. Yeah, the really fancy rat.
It was actually a good movie. I liked it.
That was like that. That was like the early 2000 DreamWorks, where I think they were trying to piggyback off the success of some of their other popular movies, and Flush Dream was one of the ones where it wasn't the best, but it definitely wasn't the worst. That's for sure. Like, honestly, the way that when I look at Flushed Out, it was like flushed away, like Watch So Zootopia Could Run.
Well, that's another one that's kind of now. If you analyze Zootopia too closely, it falls apart. But although I think that Disney's done a pretty good job trying to imagine how this kind of world might work, there's a Japanese manga that I think came out after it that I've always wondered if it was kind of a commentary in a way on it, called Beastars. And
oh yeah, really,
in some ways, Beastars has yeah. And so the manga itself, it's definitely not for kids. It's not Zootopia.
It's not for kids at all.
No, it's not. And also, to be honest with you, in some ways, the way they imagine the world doesn't quite work. But it's like they're taking an alternative tack to whatever Zootopia was doing. I don't know. Have you had a chance to see the second Zootopia? Oh, go ahead.
I have not seen the second Zootopia. I think there may be a lag between when I speak and then when you hear it, maybe a little bit. So that could be part of the issue. But I know I would think if I could be a Beastars feels more kind of realistic and like how like a world of all those animal people would be compared to like how peaceful and like harmonious Zootopia was. Because I mean, of course, Disney's not gonna Disney's not ever gonna make anything like Beastars for their show. That's definitely something that would have to be like an anime or something for manga, basically. Yeah, especially with some of the themes in there, because you had the slut rabbit and all the other animals in the game.
The white dwarf rabbit that the timber wolf falls in love with because he's a pervert. Yeah, exactly. And of course, the reason he falls in love with her because it turns out he's actually perverted. He's also only partly a wolf because his grandfather is actually a Komodo dragon, and it turns out he inherited his grandfather's, let's say, attraction to small, cute, furry creatures. and it's just it gets very weird. The manga
name me
does.
one yeah, name me one manga anime in which the characters in that are not perverted in some way or fashion.
I don't know. There may be some, but usually they're the more sign-in ones, like maybe something like well, let's see. No, Gunsmith Cats definitely has its pervy moments. Obviously, a lot of the ones from the '80s that were kind of cyberpunk themed did, like AD Police. But then you've got the ones that came along like in the '90s that were a little less pervy and a little more serious. They did go through that period. I'm Cowboy Bebop, for instance, or Samurai Champloo. But yeah, no, you're right. It's an element. It's a way. It's a part of the formula. It's a way to draw people in and keep them interested.
Yeah, like Record of Lodoss War. I started kind of continuing watching that earlier this week, and I'm still like on the first like main season. I'm on episode 6 now, and I mean like it's not like a pervy anime, but there's definitely like some like you can definitely tell like the way they draw like the elf ladies and all that in the game definitely has its pervy moments for sure.
Who doesn't like a hot elf lady? Come on.
Exactly. Especially if you're
That's
a
why they're
space,
there.
especially if you're a space shark.
There you go. Yeah, so like you have the elf of light girl who's there for the hero, and then you have the elf of darkness girl who's there for the villain, who was originally more of an anti-hero because he was originally part of their group. That was all based on that guy's actual D&D campaign, apparently.
Yeah, it was
Sounds like
based
he had a
on
pretty wild campaign.
It was based on a Japanese basic expert D&D campaign. Like you can actually, I think, like you can actually look up like the first 8 sessions, like translated to English, because they were called at the time. I actually watched a video about that. They were called like actual replays. So they would take a transcript of their game and it would be posted into like a Japanese magazine that was there. And then D&D got onto them, the people that were running the game, because it was like they said they were publishing D&D content by sharing their game, and that's how Swordwall came to be. It was made by the same guys.
And that's ended up becoming the far bigger game in Japan, which just goes to show that TSR were idiots.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the problems with TSR, particularly when they kicked Gary out, and the person running it had spent her entire life kind of making money off of Dead Man's property, because she was part of that Buck Rogers family, right? So her family owned Buck Rogers. So they
Lorraine Williams, there's a podcast I listen to. It's called When We Were Wizards, and it goes over the entire rise and fall of Gary Gygax and TSR. So yeah, they went over like the last couple episodes are all about like Gary Gygax bringing Lorraine Williams to the company, how she bought how she bought just enough stock to be able to take away Gary Gygax's majority, and they even do a recreation of the meeting minutes in which they voted him out.
Yep. And all because he was not paying attention. Apparently, there's stories about various things that were going on then, but he had basically had to come back from California and kick some of the guys out of their senior position. They owned stock, and they were required to notify the Bloom brothers. The Blooms were required to notify him.
Because what happened was Gary Gygax got so obsessed with trying to be like a Hollywood icon, make D&D a Hollywood icon, that he had no idea what was going on back home. And I forgot where the office was located. Was it?
Lake Geneva.
I want to say it was Milwaukee. Lake Geneva.
Yeah, it was Lake Geneva.
I don't know why I thought Milwaukee. And what happened was the Bloom brothers had to first give TSR notice that they were going to sell their stocks, and had to wait for them to deny it. And of course, TSR was hold on. I actually know this almost by heart now because I've listened to this podcast so many times now. the Bloom brothers had taken out a line before they were kicked out. They had taken a line of credit with a bank to try to save TSR. And nothing they were doing was working. So the bank kept telling them make cuts and make changes. So they kept cutting people, they kept making changes, and then it got around to when Gary Gygax became majority shareholder at one point. The bank freaked out and pulled the credit from them and the money. And was so Gary Gygax caught the Bloom brothers kicked off from being shareholders. But they wanted to get the Bloom brothers wanted to get their stock back at like the price they bought them at, but because of all the failures of TSR, the stock was so much less, and the bank refused to let TSR buy back those stocks at the price the Bloom brothers wanted. But Lorraine basically went behind Gary's back and said, "I will buy those stocks for the price you want." And so, the brothers had to offer them the TSR first. TSR said, "No, we can't buy it because we can't pay the price you want because the bank won't let us." And then and they actually, it's supposed to be usually, I guess it was supposed to be a 3-day window. They got away with a 10-day window, and it was so then Lorraine, actually, first thing Lorraine had to do, she had to buy the stock that she was supposed to buy. So she got 150 stocks first off. Then she bought all the Bloom stocks from them. Then there was another guy that started the company named Brian, and he had like 700 stocks. And Lorraine bought all those stocks from him as well. And she ended up becoming the majority shareholder.
And what's weird is that she had been brought in by Gary basically to run the office, if I recall correctly, because she was believed to have the business skills to do it. And she ended up taking over the company. So there you go. Now, to be fair, Gary had screwed himself in a lot of ways because folks who might have been his allies by that point were already gone. But it doesn't change the fact that Lorraine was largely responsible for giving TSR its really nasty reputation for being litigious and trying to copyright everything.
Excuse me. Because he screwed Arneson over, and that's still a whole debated thing. Screwed over. It's funny because it's interesting that Rob Kuhn still talks about Gary so lightheartedly. When you listen to the podcast, Gary Gygax treated Rob Kuntz like shit, like very much.
You know, it's funny. People have their friendships, and I think Rob recognizes Gary's weaknesses even while admiring many things about him. You know, the problem is I think the money poisoned people. You know, it got big and it was never supposed to be big.
That was one of the things they pointed out in the podcast was the money was basically like just the greed of the success of D&D was what eventually caused the downfall of Gary Gygax and TSR in the end.
Yep. Yeah, and you know, it did harm to his career long term because at that point when he left TSR, at that point they were terrified he would create an effective competitor because of his name recognition. So remember, he went to GDW and was originally going to create a game called Dangerous Destinations or something like that, which of course comes across as D&D. Well, they immediately sued. So he was going to change it to Legendary Journeys, I believe it was. And in fact, the game was eventually released. But
I think that's Roger in chat right now, right there.
Oh, okay. Hey, Roger.
Yeah, because he was trying to start his own game system, and then this was when D&D tried to start suing him repeatedly, trying to say that because I think what he did was he created his own game, but just took all the spells from AD&D and renamed them.
Which, properly speaking, we now understand he could do that. But the difficulty is that TSR was prepared to bankrupt itself, suing people. Ironically, that's what eventually brought them down. A combination of legal fees and having too much unsold inventory. there's so many people who admire AD&D Second Edition so much. Although my understanding is that the people who work for TSR never really played it. They were still playing, variations of the games they had already been playing for about a decade at that point. But what I find amusing is that it was actually AD&D Second Edition that brought TSR down, because they published all this huge amount of material, but people weren't really buying that much material. And then they ended up with an
That's one
enormous
thing I always
unsold
heard
inventory.
about the splat books that they made for Second Edition. I keep hearing about was like, whenever you ask someone about Second Edition, they say they did so many splat books.
They did. And AD&D Second Edition itself tried to be everything to everyone, because they were wanting to diminish the interest in other versions of D&D. That's why the rules cyclopedia came out, and then they just really didn't develop the system anymore. They had to keep it in publication, because if they didn't, the rights to the name, the all-important name, would revert to Arneson. That was part of the deal. But, Basic, Expert, the BECME, all those various versions, they didn't really support it as well in the AD&D 2E era. And the reason why is AD&D 2E was meant to cover all that ground too. If you look at even the core books, it's alternative, simple, and more complex systems for all kinds of things. So this is why many times when people play AD&D Second Edition, it can feel like different campaigns aren't even playing the same rules. Well, because in a way they aren't. One group is using the alternative version for encumbrance, and another is using a different one, and so on and so forth. And then the splat books get in. And of course, with the splat books came power creep and weird combinations, and oh, gracious. Yeah, I like Rob.
His default mode is, was he saying pretty kind of whack? But then
no, pretty laid back.
Oh, pretty laid back.
Pretty laid back. Cade vac.
Yeah,
Prit Cade.
I thought he was trying to say pretty kind of whack, because because I know there are some things where it's like Rob, because I remember what it was. So I will let me set this context first before I get into the story. I don't care if you support people that I don't like or not. It's not a big issue to me. But I do not like, and I'm not a fan of the Basic Expert. I do not like him at all.
No.
And I was not that impressed by his white box system. So when everyone started sharing about his Kickstarter that he did, I made a joking meme. I did a meme version of We Have White Box at Home, and I shared my White Box Cyclopedia book by James Spawn of Barrel Rider Games, which prompted a whole argument about White Box and it being redesigned and all that, because someone took a screenshot of a Discord message that Kelsey from Arcane Library said, saying that this was like a really great redoing of White Box. And Rob Kuntz got really butthurt about that for some reason. And I just remember ended up saying hey, no one's saying that the White Box versions of OD&D was bad, but it definitely need some fixing up.
Well, of course, his big thing is that the spirit of the original D&D was very much do it yourself and to make adaptations as you need to. Which, that's where White Hack and Black Hack and all that get their idea, Swords and Wizardry. It's like you don't try to make a complete system. You make a system that's complete enough to play, and then you add rules and table rulings as you need them. And eventually you can come up with house rules, or they might even just be table rules. You can come up with the rules that work for a particular situation or game, but they don't really work generally. So yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to get into the Basic Expert thing, but
yeah, I mean, congrats to him that his Kickstarter got funded and that he made a product that people loved. Congratulations to him. I wish him all the best. Not my cup of tea, though.
Yeah.
and that's where I'll
It
kind of
doesn't
leave it
help
at
that
that
he's a
because
jerk.
if I go
Exactly.
if I go into it anymore, I know people that will try to reach out to me and start complaining to me about what I'm saying about it. So I try to keep what I say about him to a minimum these days. It's
Yeah,
like
no, I
I see the
understand.
it's like I have this magical ability to piss everyone off no matter what side I agree with. So
It will eventually happen. Yeah, it's unavoidable.
yeah, because like I love my white box games, but I don't mind tieflings in my games at all. So it's like
You and
I'm weird
Elvin made
because
in.
yeah,
Yeah.
my computer's
So,
blacked out and I realized Roger screen.
oh, well, listen,
Yeah, but don't
I'm going
worry,
to
I'm
have
not
to
the fuck the
drop
bear
off.
in
It's
Baldur's
about
Gate 3.
okay. Anyway, it's about 9 o'clock here, and I've got to drop off and do some stuff with the family and then hit the sack. So I'm bright and bushy tailed and ready to play an evolved dung beetle. That will require considerable
I'm glad
effort
you
and
get the
thought, I am sure.
yeah. I'm thank you for stopping by and chatting along with me for a little bit. I'm glad we got to talk. So it's always fun chatting with you.
It's good talking to you, man. You have a good evening, and I will see you tomorrow.
Yep. See you tomorrow. Have a good night.
Good night. Bye bye.
All right, and then yeah, let me double check here to see if Dungeon Delver is doing a stream like he usually does at 8. Okay, that was 9 hours ago. Let's see, is he doing a stream tonight? It does not say. Oh no, I think he's at Page, so he's not going to be streaming. So I'm probably going to go for a little bit longer, try to finish this map because I just got these 3 lower levels to make. Trying to split my attention 3 ways. Like, are you trying to listen to some other shows on top of mine, or what else are you trying to do? All right. I'm trying to think what these bottom 3 levels would be. Yeah, Michael, that's what I was looking at too. I saw that he did a like a Friday morning Page announcement, I think like 9 hours ago on his YouTube. So he may not be streaming tonight. I try not to go into the time frame that he streams in if I can avoid it. But since he's not doing it tonight, I'm gonna go a little longer. Try to see if I'm done. Oh, taking care of your kiddo and stuff? Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so I got these 3 lower levels of this map I gotta finish. But I want these 3 lower levels. I'm thinking these are gonna be like, because again, this is a ship that was sent on a large terraforming planet mission, basically. And so what we're going with is they were sent to terraform Mars for Operation Musk. is what we decided to go with, just because of why the hell not. And so I know one of these lower levels is going to be the garage. I know that. But I don't know what this first floor is going to be. Hold on. Let me write down what these are supposed to be. So, I don't know. How do you spell cryo chamber? Yep, there we go. It's CRYO. I'll just call these cryo. And once again, I will remind everyone that is also the creator of the game we were playing out of Black Hack RPG, which is a sci-fi comedy RPG that uses the Hack the Rules by Bloat Games. And you can always find that link in the description. The link to it on Draft RPG is in the description of this video. Think of the ship like such for a movie or show. I don't know what you mean by Deck 39. Is that supposed to be a reference for something I don't know about? Because I'll be honest, guys, I did not watch a lot of space TV shows growing up. Ship things were Origins in Space or something. Like ship shows, space shows were not my thing growing up. It's not until recently I started getting them more. Let me think here. So the lower levels are supposed to be all the equipment and stuff usually. Mm. Oh, hold on. I'm just looking around here at some checking my Discord for some stuff really quick. So any TV show, or movie, something exists if it needs to, otherwise it's off camera. Imagine to be there. What's going on in here? Okay, nothing important. Barrels of Borderland guys are they got their own game happening right now on the server. Another player is running. Okay, so let's first floor, the low level is going to be, what do I want it to be? You know what? I actually kind of like that idea. I'll just kind of just draw out these other two lower levels. I know one of them is going to be like more vehicles, which I think is going to be the very bottom levels, like all the vehicles. Oh yeah, they're not gonna start off in like they're not gonna know all the ship except for the few areas they do know. But it's like I'm just creating like the ship layout so that way when they do get there, I have like some idea. That way I'm not just going in blind all the time. So I just want a decent like little ship map layout. And again, this is the first time I've ever actually made a map for anything RPG related. All right, go over there, get you. Oh, jeez. Let's sharpen it up a little bit. Yeah, I think once I get this done, I'm going to do a solo session of Calarath for Jack McCarthy's campaign server that I'm a part of. After I'm done doing this map and stuff, because I'm not really wanting to go to bed just yet. Because what I always keep forgetting, 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Lord Mattias and Gary do it on Lord Mattias' channel, so make sure you all go tune into that tonight. All the doors to the core. So the cream and stuff over the years. See, my thing, Rogers, I always was so used to doing theater of the mind because I started online during the year of as I live in say during the year of our Lord and Savior COVID-19. So I've always done just theater of the mind. I actually do somewhere back hiding behind on this end over here. I have a physical map that I printed to run at a local gaming convention one time years back. Yeah, I mean, I try to let other people know about like the people I interact with and the stuff I support and all that. So, I mean, it doesn't make it wouldn't do me any. It wouldn't blah, 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 blah. I cannot speak for some reason right now. Yeah, so it's like I love to just support my friends and the people that also support me as well. AD COVID. Yeah, COVID AD. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and then like most people that got their RPG starts in like the late 2000s, I was a filthy story gamer, as most grognards would say. But then I just decided, hey, I want to look at other games and see what else is out there. So that's how I ended up discovering like Wretched, and then just what else? Like Wretched and Horde Wars, and just a bunch of other different games at the time. I'm trying to remember what else I ended up getting. I don't remember. There was a couple other games I remember getting. I think I got like Fate Accelerated or Fate Condensed at one point as one of my actual first physical games because I used to be all about digital. And then like, if the EMP ever hits, as I like to say, I want to have physical copies of the books just in case. Oh jeez, I'm using. All right. Da-da. Yeah, that'll be fine. There should be more of that in the hobby support. You know, that's one of the biggest. Yeah, the biggest problem now is like even the people that are supposed to be on the same side, we're constantly fighting with each other too. Like again, like you can have issues with the guys if you want, but we shouldn't be always trying to like just knock each other down and stuff. Like I have my own gripes with some people, but it's either the only time I'll ever talk about those people is if they did something like egregious to me. Like Elven Maid N did, like when she decided to disrespect me, all because I didn't answer one of her questions the way she wanted me to. Because I'm one of those guys where I don't just say yes or no. I always think outside the box. So best of luck to her, whatever she does, but she can be a cunt sometimes. And I have no problems admitting that. All right. This is lower. This is lower level 2. I made that L way too big. I just realized. All right. Yeah, Roger. Make sure I'm on. Yeah. If you ever catch us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Time, we're going to be doing our first session of our flushed out campaign using your game. So if you catch it and chat with us during, great. If not, catch it on the replay then. So I hope you'll enjoy the game, and I look forward to actually playing this for the first time finally. Oh, for a second there again. Yeah, I wonder if anyone else got affected by the. If there were more people in here, I'd ask them if anyone else got affected by the Verizon blackout that happened the other day. Because it actually did affect me for a little while there. Because my family's Verizon plan. All right. Ooh, excuse me. Oof. All right. Just making a map. Making a map. I wonder who else. Huh. Rumble Crowd is selling on the Rumble side today, but I also heard Rumble's been having some issues too as well recently. So no surprise there. Da, 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 da. Making a map. Making a map. On the map, on the map, on the map, on the map. All right. Oh, I need to move it down. That's. Here we go. That's better. right, there we go. There's that. Oh man, I'm so glad it is Friday night. Oh, I just saw Mar Huckman. Oh. Okay. Da-da-da. Fill a little wall space here. And this is lower level 3. I think I'm going to keep the other lower levels blank for now. We will see how these get filled in the game, I think. I don't know. We'll find out. But that is, excuse me, all my maps now. There it goes. 1, 2, 3, and then the middle, and then middle, 1, 2, 3. Okay. I know how we're doing this now. All right. I really don't. I mean, this was just a stream I wanted to do, just to show everyone the maps I'm making for my Ultracast game tomorrow. So I think I'm going to call it here for the night. Thank you again to OSR Dwarf for joining me, who's going to be a player in my game tomorrow morning. Thank you to all those who came to the chat. Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Roger, for your guys' love and support. Make sure to tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central Time, for the Ultracast for our first session of the Flushed Out campaign using Out of the Black Hack RPG system by my buddy Roger. Again, Drive Through RPG link is in the description below. And you can also find my my tabletop frontline merch. I need to push that a little bit harder. You can get a shirt or a mug currently, and the link that I have in the description should give you 10% off your first order as well. So, and then once again at 9:30 p.m. Central Time, Gary and Matt and Lord Mattias do their second watch show on Lord Mattias's YouTube channel. So make sure you go follow Lord Mattias on YouTube and on Rumble as well. And so thank you all again. Hope everyone had a great week. Don't know why I'm spacing out here now. Spacing out. Funny choice of words there on my part. Yeah, so everyone have a good weekend. Roll some dice. Spend time with your loved ones and your friends. And just have a good night. Take care, y'all.